G'day guys, Cam Wild Touring. I reckon there's quite a few of you out there that have been running chest or drawer fridges for a while, and you're probably wondering what the hype about upright fridges is all about. I've had my Bushman 85 litre upright for just a little over 6 months now, so this is definitely no sort of long-term review or anything, but I'll share with you a few thoughts I've had on the topic. Throughout this video, I'm going to compare the Bushman upright with a 40 litre Engel. The reason for that is, well, first of all, I've got a 40 litre Engel, so I was able to do a little bit of a test for you to compare power consumption between the two. But also, they're probably the most popular 12 volt fridge in Australia, and it's kind of the benchmark of 12 volt fridges. And I thought there may be many of you with 40 litre Engels that are considering upgrading or changing to an upright. Anyway, let's get right into it. Let's talk about price, weight, and mounting. So the time of making this video, the Bushman 85 upright seems to go for about 1,500 bucks. What overwhelmingly swung me to give one a go was the weight. These are 21.5 kilos. Being an upright, they're totally accessible at any height that you mount it. So really quite handy. The door is reversible. It's really easy to flip the position. So that's one thing that I've done with mine. When you buy them, they open that way. So that just made it easier for my orientation. They do come with a mounting kit. It's pretty basic, and there is quite a bit of farting around to fit these things into your canopy or your wagon. What a lot of people are doing, and what I did is purchase an aftermarket fridge cage. So ThunderFab, the guys that built my canopy, sell this one. It weighs an additional 11 kilos and it costs $480. So all said and done, to mount this thing in my canopy with the cage, it came in at 32.5 kilos and cost a total of $1,980. So not much change out of $2,000. Now, comparing that with the Engel, these are 24 kilos. My model sells for $1,300. There are other models available. For many applications, including mine, you're going to want either a slide or a drop slide, because it's just too hard to see, you know, your food and your drinks and stuff and to get in there. And I'm 6'2", so my missus or anyone smaller than me is going to struggle to get into that thing. So I'd probably be looking at a drop slide for that if I was going to permanently run it in the back of the canopy. Drop slides weigh about 35 kilos and they cost about 900 bucks. So to set this up properly in my canopy, I'd be looking at $2,200 for the cost of the fridge and the drop slide, and that would weigh in about 60 kilos. So about the same price, but significantly heavier. So although the Engel and a drop slide has a physically larger footprint, the Bushman upright has over double the capacity at 85 litres versus 40 litres capacity for my Engel. And that pretty much wraps up what sold me on giving one of these a crack. For a similar price, the Bushman is roughly double the capacity and half the weight, and a smaller footprint compared to an Engel and a drop slide. What you've heard about everything falling out of these uprights when you open the door after full driving is actually pretty accurate. These do require some forethought to pack properly, similar to a caravan fridge, I suppose. It's surprising that no one's actually jumped on making aftermarket trays or tubs to fit the dimensions of these fridges, given their popularity. Your only real option is to grab the dimensions and head into Kmart, Big W or Bunnings with your tape measure and find a combination of containers that works. There's heaps of different solutions that I've seen. Many people are using these spring-loaded bars. You've probably seen them. Places like Camek and Caravan parts suppliers sell stuff like this. Unfortunately, I bought the wrong size ones, but the idea is you can load it right up. Oh, you get it. You can load it right up, stick that bar in. Mine won't go any further than that because there's ridges on the side of the fridge there. But as you're using cans or whatever, you can push the bar back to keep everything in. What I've sort of found that works okay, I've got these Systema baskets. They're from Woolworths. There's the brand and size if you do want to give some a go. I won't give you the details of that spring-loaded bar because I bought the wrong size. This is a little can organizer from Kmart. That works all right. You lay your cans on their side. And I do find that a carton of eggs fits perfectly underneath that compressor hump there. These have got a little 6-litre freezer in the corner. That's really handy. It works really well. I can keep Zupa Dupas or, you know, for the kids, or I can vacuum pack my meat into portion sizes. I have no dramas fitting a couple of kilos of chicken, beef, bacon, fish, whatever. I've also found ice trays that fit inside there, the ice trays that come with the lids on top. So it's nice to, you know, have a little bit of ice in your Rumbo for the evening or whatever. What you need to know about that freezer though is that the way these work, the coil runs around that freezer section, so anything you put directly underneath that freezer is going to be colder than anywhere else in the fridge, and things do ice over. So you definitely want to put your vegetables or fruit up underneath there, because they'll be no good in no time. Another thing I quite like is these sections of the shelves flip open, and you can get a full 3 litre milk or 2 litre Coke or whatever it is if you got, you can fit it up right, wine bottles, etc. Of course you can fit all that stuff in the shelves as well. And yes, you can fit an entire block of beer just on the bottom shelf. So you can have all your beers on the bottom and the rest of the fridge can be food. Buy some nice craft beer, support your local breweries, and a lot of them come with these plastic ring lock things. Even if I go buy a block of Export or whatever, I've got a handful of these that I've saved, I recycle them, and I clip them onto the cans and stuff them all on the bottom, and then they're less likely to spill out everywhere. So they work really well. I've always got a handful of them in my drawers now. Let's have a bit of a chat about power consumption. Given that the 40 litre Engel is half the volume of the 85 litre upright, I'd expect the upright to use significantly more power. I reckon the Engel is probably better insulated too, which might be part of the reason why it's so much heavier for its size. So I set up a bit of a test to compare the power consumption between the two. Now don't focus too much on what the actual figures themselves are, as this is not a real life scenario. I'm not going to be opening and closing the fridge door all day like you normally would at camp, and the Canopy door was shut for the entire time that I tested the power consumption, so there was little airflow for the fridges. Also, the fridges weren't packed full with cold food like they normally would. So I selected two 24-hour windows with similar weather. The car was parked in the same position in full sun with the canopy totally shut. Both fridges started from ambient temperature at the same time of the day with the same load inside them, which was a 9 litre keg full of beer that came straight out of my shed fridge. So they both started with stuff inside them at the same temperature. Now the Engel has a digital thermostat that I set to 3 degrees, whereas the Bushman has got an analog dial that goes from 1 to 7. I set it to 4, which is how I normally use it camping. I don't actually know what temperature that is, but it keeps my drinks cold and nothing freezes over. Listen, as you can probably tell already, this test is not too scientific. There's heaps of variables, and I didn't even actually monitor the internal temperatures throughout the process, but I wouldn't at camp anyway. So yeah, it'll give you a bit of an idea how they compare. The results over a 24-hour period were that the Bushman used 52.8 amp hour, averaging out to 2.2 amps per hour, and the Engel used 27.1 amp hour, which averages out to 1.1 amp per hour. So no surprise there, the Bushman used pretty much bang on double the amount of power that the Engel used. The Bushman is double the size and has a 6 litre freezer. So there you go, no big surprise there. So a couple of final thoughts. Both fridges are brilliant, both have their place. An upright fridge is a significant weight saving, and it's much more convenient, certainly in my application. I can get to things without having to pull half the fridge contents out. For those reasons alone, I'm happy with the decision to run an upright as my primary camping fridge, but I'll always keep my Engel. And I think the Engel is probably a better fridge in a lot of ways. It's more versatile because it's portable. It can be stuck on the back of a ute in full sun and all weather, and I'd be confident it'd continue to chug along for 20 years. Heaps of people have proven that in the past. The Engel can run on 240 volts, so you can plug it in at home and pull the temp down before you actually put a load on your vehicle's 12 volt system. Whereas the upright is strictly 12 volt and 24 volt applications only. The Engel can also be used as a freezer, whereas the upright cannot. The Engel also makes an awesome kegerator, as I've found out. And I reckon that just about wraps it up. And if you're wondering who made this organizer, it's by Nathan and Kelly from PM Canvas Products. You can order one like mine, or you can get them to make custom canvas work for you. DM them on Instagram. So it velcros onto marine carpet, and the marine carpet is being stuck to my fridge. So yeah, that's really cool. If you're interested in that, check them out on Instagram, have a chat to them. They do some really cool stuff. I got quite a bit of PM Canvas custom canvas work on the car, and it is all top-notch quality. Anyway, I'll leave that there. Cheers guys, thank you for watching. If you like this kind of content, please let me know. Comment below, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Cheers.